So today we're going back to my favorite game, Dragons Dogma Dark Arisin. But given I've beaten it like countless times, decided to give myself a challenge. I'm only going to be able to throw my pawn to do damage. So it's going to take a lot longer, and we're just going to be trying to get to Gran Soren.
Take up arms, newly written.
And I'll skip forward a bit here just because it's going to take ages. But I've chosen Strider, just so I have the dodge roll. You'll see how that comes into effect later. And here comes our first bit of throwable material. Anyone who's played this game is familiar with this guy, and just how utterly useless he becomes. So, unfortunately, because he's a Capcom pawn, you can't actually remove his staff. When I get my own ones, I'm going to remove them to remove any chance of them using it. But until then, gotta keep him around. This is where you get the idea of the entire run.
Choice is yours. My knowledge. Can you hear our voice?
We speak to you from across great distance. The Pawn Legion has awaited you.
And that up is the first real challenge in this, because you've got to somehow take out the entire sidewalk just by throwing. And what becomes really difficult in this one is because you're stuck with the rope, you can't take his staff off. You will occasionally try to grapple to it and deal damage that way. It's quite difficult to avoid. Because once he grapples on, you're unable to grapple him off. Just like this.
I'll grab its leg before it's tired. On my way.
So fortunately, there is one way to get him off there, which I didn't do here. If you walk far enough away from the fight, he just despawns and comes over to you. I'm kind of panicking because it's so close to dead, and he's just about to kill it, so run far enough away, And it dragged them over to you.
It cannot move with one on its leg.
Put the Cyclops down.
Was a close scrape, that. Let us return to the encampment.
And from this point on, I have no use for him, so just get rid of him.
With that, your trial is complete. You are the Arisen in truth, proven beyond any doubt. Now, I bid you select a companion for the journey ahead.
Our fealty is sworn to you, Arisen. From this day, the Legion's men called pawns live and die by your command.
Anyone who's played this game would be familiar with this guy dragging you over to the training area. Now, a lot of people think you're stuck doing this training every single time, and if you played it a few times, it really drags on. But when you get here, you can literally just walk out the door.
I lead the men of the Enlistment Corps. I've heard talk of the Arisen. They say you hold dominion over the pawns. Make use of the encampment as you please. Are you in need of rest? As you will. Repose is the better part of readiness.
And this one is really the challenge of this entire run. Is to cut off its head, you have to deal the damage up the neck. And the only way to hit that by throwing a pawn is you have to time it for when it's lunging forward. And just for how long this one took, I'd sped it up. And my pawns don't seem to like me just yeeting them, and a lot of them just run away. Also, in hindsight, I should have gotten 3 pawns of minimal size, because that way they're lighter, and I wouldn't constantly be over-encumbered every time I picked them up. It wouldn't have made too much of a difference. finally almost there.
I am impressed. I'd hoped to gather a larger force before leaving for the capital. But the Hydra's head and the Arisin who claimed it make up the difference amply. I cannot say what the past may hold. You'll need your strength. It will be slow going with a cart. I dare say you'll have no trouble catching up. We'll meet at the Way Castle. Till then, I bid you rest well. 'Tis a long road ahead.
Safeguard your belongings. Have your pick. Any you like. What will it be today?
Yeah, grabbing a bunch of group healing items. Because if you're familiar with what's coming up ahead, you can easily lose all your progress if the cart goes down. Probably should have grabbed a few more before I started this run, but some basic bandits. This is where you can really see why I chose Strider. Because in a lot of groups like this, you can, even if they're not doing damage, they can easily just stun you. So being able to roll out to easily go grab them is very useful.
Perhaps we'll find ore among the crabs that litter.
And this part here was my big worry. Because what hadn't considered to me is wolves. Their hitbox is below the height you throw things at. So when I'm dealing with them, I'm going to have to pick the distance and hit them as it falls down. Which is going to be a lot more difficult than everything else. And if you've ever played this game, you'll know that there's going to be a lot more wolves coming up. No idea why, but for some reason here, all the wolves just decided to start running off the cliff, which was to take me a lot of time.
I trust you rested well, given the hour. The Arisin arose late this day, eh? We make for the capital, men. Like as not, the cart will draw beasts along the way. Stay vigilant. Keep close, Arisin. The Duke will have no use for you dead.
Let us go!
So this is the last part of the challenge, and it's also the longest. So you've got to protect this ox cart all the way to the capital. And you're just constantly bombarded by goblins, wolves, and harpies. All three of which are particularly difficult for this to run. Because the goblins are short, so you can't throw directly in front of them. So are the wolves. And then when you come to the harpies, they fly. So you've got to wait for them to dive down in order to be able to hit them at all. So luckily, you're not alone on this. There is a bunch of NPCs. But it really puts into comparison how useless they are, given that you deal more damage throwing the pawns than they do 4v1. So here, that boulder is just time to fall down. Another way you can just avoid it hitting the cart. Just put your pawns between it and them and it always... Right. Another advantage of if I chose lighter pawns is when you're carrying someone, if you're over encumbered, it drains stamina. But if you're not, you can do it pretty much indefinitely. Just coming up, you'll see how close I got to failing this run, because the Ox actually starts its death animation, but luckily I managed to get a heal in just before it actually triggers the death.
We'll need them in, not much.
And from this point on, it's home free. So, yes. Yes, you can make it to the capital only throwing your paw.
The Duke's burden is great.
Also,
Between his duties
in this
as
mission,
and the worm heart.
if you ever hop on the ox and you position yourself like this on top of it, like you're riding it, it actually doesn't consume any stamina. So if you're doing it for like the 5th time, and your pawns can just handle everything, you can just sit on here and let them do it, and you can just idle this entire quest.
We've arrived. Well done, men.